listed as questionable for today's game against the Patriots. He's good to go. He's going to be out there. They don't know about Xavier Rhodes, still questionable. Will test his hamstring. Pre-game, other defensive backs. Aqib Talib is back for the Rams today. Eric Berry won't play for the Chiefs today. They think he could be ready for that Thursday night game against the Chargers. Would be a big boost for the Chiefs secondary if they could get Eric Berry back there. Jack Doyle, the Colts tight end, lacerated his kidney last week. He's obviously out for the season, and we hope that he's okay. Also, and in one of the most highly anticipated reunions, Richard Sherman returns to Seattle to face the Seahawks.
I'm going back home. Who got my back? Who got my back? Who got my back?
You gotta be physical. We don't need to cover you. You cover yourself. You come right here. It's gonna be an issue. Got hands like feet. I'll send you a birthday card.
I love that about it. Fire, fear, fire. It's been done to the end zone. Richard Sherman tips it. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Looking forward to moving on to a new chapter. The rivalry is what it is. It'll be renewed, I'm sure. And I'll be at the center of it again, I guess. I don't really have a relationship with Russell. So seeing him throw 5 picks in a game, I don't even think about it, honestly. You know, it's a game, it's a football game.
Oh, well, tell us how you really feel. This one could be interesting. Richard Sherman making his return to Seattle. The Seahawks will play plenty of time at home, that is, over the final 5 weeks of the season. 4 of their last 5 games are at home against the Vikings, Chiefs, and Cardinals after hosting the 49ers today. All right, so let's talk about this matchup. On the surface, it looks like a game that Seattle should win. Matt, we know that the Seahawks are running the ball well right now, but what are you seeing from Russell Wilson?
Well, I'm seeing this. When you run the ball a ton, you get a lot of man coverage. And because of that, you know, Russell Wilson has 8 touchdowns, the most in the NFL, in throwing touchdowns with tight windows. And it comes with man coverage, and he does it all different ways. It's fade balls. It's using your eyes. Here's an example of a zone coverage using your eyes. Now, he has this in his game. You know, that ball goes through a car wash, it doesn't get wet. That's a laser strike. But what I want to talk about is these corner routes. Man coverage, press coverage here. The receiver's going to give an indicator step right at 10 yards. Boom, a hard step like that, indicator. I'm going to the back pylon when we're in the red zone. I'm going to that back pylon. That's where my high angle is set. And then the quarterback knows I can flatten you if I want, depending on how the DB plays it. So in my opinion, you can't cover this as a DB. As long as that receiver takes that high angle, the ball can go anywhere. Here he is against off coverage. Again, he throws this before the receiver breaks. That's that hard indicator step. From that spot, I'm going to the back pylon, and the quarterback can flatten you. You see Russell Wilson and his receivers do this over and over again, and starts with that high angle set. And the ball's out. That's really undefendable, and that's what I see in Russell Wilson. So they got this run game going, and then he'll make you pay. He's accurate with that kind of a throw.
Yeah, and plays great at home. We heard Russell Wilson this week say all positive things about Richard Sherman. But Charles, you heard what Richard said there. I have no relationship with Russell. I've seen him throw 5 picks in a game. He said some positive things too, but there's clearly no love lost in that relationship. Do you think that plays a role, especially because of their positions, that he's going to have an opportunity to go up against this guy today? Does that add something to this game?
No, I don't know. I think that's I don't know their relationship. I don't know, how they truly feel about each other. I know about the sound bites. I know that Richard Sherman, this has been his game, throughout his whole career. He tries to get in your head as a defender, and he doesn't care who it is. He doesn't care that he just came out of that building last year, and those were his ex-teammates. He's going to talk his trash, and he don't care how you feel about it. But for me, I don't think it plays a part as far as him going in there thinking, I got to have a great game against Russell Wilson. I think Richard Sherman is a smart football player. He's been a smart football player his whole life. Any plays that he's going to make is because he understands the game of football. He understands where his plays come from. So it's not a personal thing, I don't feel like, with Richard Sherman. But I think he's doing what he always does to try to get into the other team's head.
Charles, the one thing he's doing for sure, he's letting his teammates know that, hey, he's not intimidated by Russell Wilson or the Seattle Seahawks.
And I'm with you guys. I'm a 49er.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he's all in that way. But I think he's trying to get his guys' confidence. And you talk about, with Richard, the thing about him is he told the whole country that he was the best corner in football. And everybody's like, who? Who the heck is this guy?
Right.
I know I did that. I'm better than Darrelle Revis. You ain't even close to Darrelle Revis. Then you watch him play. The thing I love about Richard's game is he makes you pay. When you throw the ball down the field, if it's underthrown, it's overthrown, whatever.
His ball.
This guy makes the play. He can catch it. And the great thing about corners, when you go after corners, you look for guys that can find the football and can catch the football, and that's what he does. That's what he's going to be doing today. He's going to be tackling today because Seattle's going to be running the football. The thing I like about in this matchup, though, with the Seahawks, Russell has 3 guys to throw to, Randy. It's not just Doug Baldwin, who I know he's on my fantasy team. He doesn't catch anything. But it's the other 2 guys that are doing a great job.
You know, Rex, you're talking about Lockett and Moore, number 83, that just came on the scene. You know, I think the favor for me favors the Seattle Seahawks because they are familiar with Richard Sherman. And there's a technique that a lot of people don't really pay attention to, but I know the technique that Richard Sherman uses. Charles, your cornerback, when he's beat downfield, is trying to bring himself to the cornerback with the grabbing and the snatch. And so I think for me today...
Real subtle.
I think today, I think the Seattle Seahawks understand what they have to do to make plays. I think you have the young Lockett, you have a young Moore. Going up top, I see them hitting some big plays. You talk about the run game from the Seattle Seahawks and how that has revamped that team. I look for some big play action, deep shots from Seattle over Richard Sherman today.
I think for me, too, you look at the tackles, DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead. These 2 guys, I think, have to have a big game. Both of these guys are 6'7", and we know that Russell Wilson's not very tall. They got to get their hands up when they can't get to him, make him get out of the pocket because he's not going to try to throw them. So those guys have to have a big game today, too.
I know you guys said Richard Sherman isn't intimidated by this Seattle team. Russell Wilson is not intimidated by the 49ers. No quarterback has had more wins against a team since 2012 than Russell Wilson against the 49ers. 11 wins against that team.